On February 22, 2026, in the mountains of Jalisco, the most hunted man in Mexico finally ran out of places to hide. For nearly 2 decades, he built an empire of blood and billions. He outgunned the army. He outlasted rival cartels. He survived helicopter assaults, federal raids, and a $15 million bounty on his head. Governments called him a terrorist. The DEA called him a priority target. His enemies called him untouchable. His name was El Mencho. This is the story of how a poor farm boy from Michoacan rose to lead the ruthless Jalisco New Generation cartel, and how a pre-dawn raid in Tapalpa ended one of the most violent reigns in modern cartel history. Nemesio Ruben Oseguera Cervantes, known by his alias El Mencho, was born on July 17, 1966, in the rural town of Aguililla in western Michoacan. He grew up in a poor agricultural community of avocado and lime farmers, and left school early to work in the fields. In his late teens, he crossed into the United States, seeking work. By the mid-1980s, he was living in California, where he was first arrested on drug charges. In 1986, he was detained on narcotics charges in San Francisco, and in 1994, he was federally convicted of conspiring to distribute heroin, serving nearly 3 years in an American prison. After completing his sentence, Oseguera was deported back to Mexico, ending his early foray into life as a fugitive in the U.S. Back in Mexico, Oseguera briefly re-entered law enforcement. According to reports, he worked as a local police officer in Michoacan for a time. However, by the 1990s, he abandoned that career and returned to the drug trade. He initially joined forces with members of the Milenio Cartel and the allied Los Quinas organization, under the mentorship of notorious trafficker Ignacio Nacho Coronel Villarreal. As the Mexican government cracked down on old cartels, Oseguera climbed the criminal ranks. By the turn of the century, he had become a trusted lieutenant in Coronel's network, managing drug shipments and money laundering. When Ignacio Coronel was killed in a 2010 security operation, Oseguera and partner Eric Valencia Salazar, alias L85, broke away and struck out on their own. In the late 2000s, Nemesio Oseguera, El Mencho, co-founded a new criminal organization, the Cartel de Jalisco Nueva Generación, CJNG. The CJNG initially operated as an armed wing of the Sinaloa cartel, but it rapidly asserted its independence and fought to control key territories across western Mexico. Within a few years, El Mencho emerged as the undisputed leader of the CJNG, overseeing its rapid expansion. Under his direction, the CJNG grew into one of Mexico's most powerful and violent drug syndicates. By the mid-2000s, U.S. and Mexican authorities already considered Mencho among the most wanted fugitives, placing him on reward lists and indicting him in U.S. courts. Under El Mencho's command, the CJNG built a reputation for extreme violence and sophisticated tactics. The cartel trafficked massive quantities of cocaine, methamphetamine, and especially fentanyl into the United States, and even ran migrant smuggling operations northward. It equipped its gunmen with military-grade weapons and technology. For example, CJNG cells used armed drones and improvised explosive devices in attacks. The group launched brazen assaults on Mexican authorities. In 2015, cartel gunmen shot down an army helicopter during a failed raid on Mencho. And in 2020, they even hurled grenades at police headquarters in Mexico City. Security experts have warned that the CJNG's arsenal and tactics rival those of regular armies, and U.S. officials say CJNG is now as powerful as the once dominant Sinaloa cartel. Mexican and U.S. authorities pursued El Mencho relentlessly. By 2026, he faced multiple indictments in U.S. federal courts for drug trafficking and kingpin charges, and the U.S. State Department offered a bounty of up to $15 million for information leading to his capture. In February 2025, the Trump administration even designated the CJNG as a foreign terrorist organization. U.S. and Mexican forces formed joint task forces to track Mencho's network. For example, indictments and most wanted listing. U.S. prosecutors indicted Mencho several times, most recently in 2022, for conspiracy and distribution of heroin, methamphetamine, cocaine, and fentanyl. He was long listed among the U.S. government's most wanted drug fugitives. Rewards and designations. A $15 million reward was offered for tips leading to his arrest, and in early 2025, the U.S. officially branded the CJNG a terrorist group. Intelligence cooperation. U.S. intelligence and military agencies worked closely with Mexican authorities. A U.S.-led intelligence task force gathered information on cartel networks, and White House officials later confirmed that American intelligence support helped pinpoint Mencho's location. Direct operations. Mexican special forces twice attempted to seize Mencho before 2026. In a 2015 helicopter raid on his stronghold, cartel gunmen fiercely defended the site and even downed the attacking helicopter. These raids signaled the danger. Mencho's men rarely surrendered without a fight. Despite the pressure, El Mencho remained at large until 2026. By mid-February 2026, Mexican security forces received a crucial tip from a trusted associate of one of El Mencho's romantic partners. Acting on this intelligence, Mexican special forces and National Guard units covertly surrounded a remote compound in the mountainous town of Tapalpa, in central western Jalisco. A U.S. defense official later confirmed that an American task force helped guide the operation. In the pre-dawn hours of February 22nd, elite Mexican troops moved in. CJNG gunmen opened fire immediately, triggering a fierce gun battle. Soldiers returned fire and killed roughly 8 of Mencho's bodyguards defending the scene. After hours of fighting, troops found Nemesio Oseguera badly wounded in a nearby cabin alongside 2 injured gunmen. He was alive, but critically hurt. The soldiers immediately called in a medevac helicopter to evacuate him. Mencho was airlifted toward a hospital, but he died in flight from his wounds. Mexican officials announced later that a total of 3 people, El Mencho and 2 of his escorts, had been wounded in the raid and did not survive. In their possession, soldiers seized a cache of weapons, including rifles and rocket launchers, and took 2 others into custody. News of El Mencho's killing set off instant chaos across Mexico. Within hours, cartel loyalists erupted in violence. They erected roadblocks, burned dozens of vehicles, and attacked security installations to avenge their fallen leader. Authorities reported more than 250 blockades across 20 states, with fires and smoke plumes over highways and urban areas. In cities like Guadalajara, the streets were deserted as panicked residents stayed home. Schools and public transit were suspended. The unrest left at least 14 people dead, including 7 soldiers among the casualties. In the tourist state of Jalisco, officials closed the Puerto Vallarta airport, and airlines canceled flights. The U.S. and Canadian governments issued travel advisories, warning their citizens to shelter in place in Jalisco and surrounding regions. Mexican leaders responded with urgent statements. President Claudia Sheinbaum publicly hailed the operation as a landmark success for security forces, and she urged calm amid the violence. The governor of Jalisco ordered a temporary curfew and suspended schools, calling the hours critical for public safety. Meanwhile, Mexican authorities quickly began to quash rumors and misinformation spreading online. Organized crime analysts noted that cartel-linked social media accounts were flooding the internet with fake reports and videos, for example, images of burning aircraft at airports, to exaggerate the unrest. President Sheinbaum warned that there were many fake news stories circulating about the crisis. Security officials said they identified some cartel-run accounts pumping out lies designed to amplify fear across the country. In short order, government sources worked to debunk the most sensational fabrications. The death of Nemesio El Mencho marked a dramatic climax in Mexico's drug wars. Analysts agreed it was the most significant strike against organized crime since the capture of Joaquin El Chapo Guzman. Mexican authorities succeeded in taking down one of the world's most dangerous fugitives, but the tumultuous aftermath illustrated the CJNG's sprawling reach. Burned-out vehicles on highways and cities, smoldering under curfews, showed the cartel's capacity to sow terror even after its leader fell. Experts cautioned that, while Sunday was a good day for Mexican security forces, the cartels had already reframed the story to suggest that the government was losing control. In the days following Mencho's death, Mexico faced the challenge of consolidating this victory. The government vowed to maintain pressure on the CJNG, but the network of El Mencho's collaborators and successors remained intact. For ordinary Mexicans, the episode underscored both the reach of the cartel's violence and the dangers of its propaganda. As Claudia Scheinbaum noted, defeating one kingpin may not end the cartel's grip on society, but it was undeniably a watershed moment in the battle against drug cartels.